Welcome back to The Point. Earlier today, Narendra Modi filed his nomination papers from Vadodara. Few people doubt that he will comfortably win. But what about Varanasi, the second seat he wants to contest? Has the Congress ensured victory by fielding a weak candidate? Or is that a simplistic, if not mistaken, conclusion? My guests are BJP spokesperson Sudhanshu Trivedi, Congress spokesperson Salman Soz, the well-known Indian Express columnist Tavleen Singh, and the well-known political analyst Achyut Yagnik. Mr. Soz, after raising expectations that Congress would field a formidable candidate, and many people said that in fact you might end up fielding Mr. Digvijaya Singh, you've chosen Ajay Rai, who in 2009 ended up third. And few people believe he's going to do any better this time round. But why have you chosen Ajay Rai?
Mr. Thapar, whenever we choose candidates, in our party at least, we choose them so that we win. It's not about we choose because we just have to kind of lay down.
That's the point I'm making. You've chosen a man who was third in 2009. He's got stiffer opposition this time, and his chances are even more bleak.
In fact, if you look at the voting patterns in Varanasi, if you look at the data, the BJP has, for the last 3 elections, not crossed about 32-33%. That was the best, I think, in 1999. We won the seat in 2004.
But you lost it in 2009. And this man who came third in 2009 is your candidate, and he's got stiffer opposition. And my question is, what makes you believe that he'll do any better in 2014 compared to 2009?
No, see, that's the thing. This time around, there's going to be a very direct, and the party is going to put up a big fight there because we have to defeat Mr. Modi. And you know, the thing is, Mr. Modi is going to pin out.
Intention doesn't translate into result. I know you have to defeat Mr. Modi. Ajay Rai is unlikely to do it for you. That question you don't seem to want to address.
Ajay Rai is an extremely strong candidate, and you'll see how if you look at how many parties are contesting.
The problem is, by the time we see, it may be too late for you.
No.
Let me bring in Achyut Yagnik. Mr. Yagnik, you're hearing from Salman Soz, the Congress spokesperson, that Ajay Rai is an extremely strong candidate, that is a good reason for choosing him, despite the fact he came third in 2009. Now, it is true that he's the sitting MLA from Varanasi, and it is true that local reports suggest that he's A, extremely popular, and B, that he knows the city extremely well. Do you therefore believe that's a good basis for fielding him a second time, despite the fact he came third in 2009?
I think for Congress, it is insider and outsider, you know. So they have fielded this Ajay Rai as an insider. From other angle also, he is an insider because most of his political career he spent in BJP. So from that point of view also, he is an insider.
But are you suggesting that because he spent half his career, if not most of his career in the BJP, he's the best person to sabotage the BJP's interests because he knows them from the inside? Is that in a sense the logic you're thinking lies behind the Congress decision?
Not sabotage, but certainly they think that he knows inside outside of BJP in Varanasi.
So he can get the better of Mr. Modi?
That constituency.
So you're saying he can get the better of Mr. Modi on those grounds?
No, he can pose a challenge for Modi on that ground.
Let me put it like this, Tavleen Singh. You've just come back from Varanasi. You spent a fair number of days in that city. Now, it's a city that has a sizable Muslim, Brahmin, Banya and Thakur minority. What chance is that they might all vote in such a way as to ensure Mr. Modi's defeat? And before you answer, let me add this. The papers today report that Maulanas in Varanasi are going to first of all appeal to Mukhtar Ansari to withdraw in favor of Arvind Kejriwal, and they're going to secondly call upon the Muslim community, which could be as much as 18% going by some assessments, to vote for Arvind Kejriwal. If that happens, that could be bad news for Narendra Modi.
It's not bad news. It's not going to make that much difference. The thing with this Ajay Rai's last minute induction was, till yesterday in the little coffee shops and the chai shops of Benares, they were thinking it would be Priyanka Gandhi or somebody like that would take him on, because he's a formidable, he's in a formidable position in Benares. But what can happen, what they're aiming for, from what I hear from the local Congress party there, is that they want now only to reduce the margin of his victory. So they're not even aiming for victory, from what I can gather.
But do you believe that if the different minority communities that make up the full population of Varanasi were to choose to vote strategically, which they could,
the Muslims will not vote for Mr. Modi. There's no question about that.
what happens about the Brahmins, the
But the
Thakurs and the
Muslim
Banyas? They may also strategically vote against
They're
him.
not. There isn't. Doesn't work like that.
So that's an academic rather than an actual danger.
There is an overwhelming support for him, and so that doesn't work.
You mean it's so palpable that you can sense it even now?
Yes.
Despite the fact there are still 40 odd days to go for the voting?
Yes.
Mr. Trivedi, there's no doubt that Narendra Modi will win and will comfortably in Vadodara. But the danger that you run in fielding him from Varanasi is that if he were to lose there, you would imperil him becoming Prime Minister no matter how many seats the BJP runs. That's a risk you're running. But are you simply doing it out of bravado, or have you gone through calculations to ensure that there is no real risk?
If you look at the immense popularity of Sri Narendra Modi all over the country, he's contesting from any other seat. It's not a bravado. It is a realistic assessment which is reflecting from his rallies to the election surveys. We have fielded Sri Narendra Modi with a strategic concern that will impact the entire Purvanchal from eastern UP to Bihar.
You're laughing, Mr. Soz. You obviously find something very funny. Share the joke with us.
I'll tell you this, and let me
One more thing.
Go
Mr. Narendra Modi is not contesting against any candidate. He's not fighting against Congress party or any candidate. He's fighting against the misrule of the government, and now he's a symbol of hope.
Just a moment, Mr. Trivedi. Just a moment. Before you become glib with that answer, every single person is fighting against another candidate. You have to fight against a candidate to win. You can't simply say you're fighting against the abstract concept of misrule. It may be appealing when you speak at the hustings, but in reality, when people vote, they vote for candidates.
Candidate of a national political party.
Let me
party has declared. So all candidates technically
Mr. Trivedi, resist the temptation to make this a party political speech. Let's try and be analytical. There's an audience that's listening to you and they want to try and learn. Let's try and give them something they can usefully use. You were laughing. What did you find so funny?
Well, first, there's a calculation by the BJP that, he is the son of the soil of Gujarat and, he contests there. That seems logical. But then you take him to Varanasi, which has symbolic kind of, for symbolic reasons you go there. There's going to be polarization. And they think then he can sway other voters. But let me draw your attention to some realities.
No, that's not.
No, let me just. I want to tell you why I was smiling. I want to tell you why I was smiling.
But get to it quickly.
Okay. If you look at some of the polls that we are seeing, if we assume that the polls are correct, Mr. Modi's prime ministerial preference ratings are 34%.
No, Mr. Soz, I'm sorry.
Even in Gujarat, he doesn't get there.
I'm going to interrupt you because very cleverly but deliberately you are deflecting the discussion away from Varanasi to a larger context about Mr. Modi's prime ministry ambitions. Forgive me. Mr. Soz, pause a moment and listen to the question before you answer. If the Congress is so committed to trying to ensure that Mr. Modi loses in Varanasi, and as I'm saying to you, if you play your cards possibly, given the community-wise breakup of that constituency, you could perhaps work towards a defeat, but you needed to then ensure that you had a single opposition candidate. You needed to have some understanding with the Samajwadi Party, the BSP and the Aam Aadmi Party, and possibly with Mukhtar Ansari as well, and that you patently failed to do. Why could you not have got together and put up a single candidate and really give Modi a fight?
Look, I mean, we have to fight on our own. We're fighting on our own.
Why?
We are fighting. If other people want to join us, they're welcome to join us. But we believe that Mr. Modi.
If defeating Modi is your prime aim, compromise and try and seek a common candidate which the others can agree on.
I'll tell you this: Mr. Modi is
putting Congress ahead of defeating Modi. That's what you're saying.
I think it is a strategic mistake on their part. Mr. Modi is going to be pinned down in Varanasi. He'll face a very tough fight there. And if you look at the breakdown of what the voting composition is, it's going to be very tough for him.
One of the things that's going against the candidate of the Congress party is his criminal background. So you've got Mukhtar Ansari, who's a gangster, and you've got Ajay Rai, who's a gangster. And in Banaras, they're very well aware of that background. The reason why he wins is because of that muscle power.
You've just actually explained why they've chosen him. It's because he's a Bahubali, as he's described in common language, that he wins. And the Congress is clearly hoping that the strong arm tactics, if I can use that, that he might deploy will actually give him an advantage. And certainly he has linkages in Varanasi that Mr. Modi as an outsider
Criminal
doesn't.
linkages?
Well, people have linkages, let's not be judgmental about whether they're criminal or not. But the advantage that he brings is that he understands the community. And
what I'm trying to say, no, Karan, what I'm trying to say is that you've got the man who wants to be Prime Minister contesting from this constituency. You need somebody with more gravitas than a gangster.
Let me go back. I'll come back to you in a moment's time, Mr. Sos, but let me go first to Sudhanshu Trivedi. Mr. Trivedi, till 2009, Ajay Rai was in fact in the BJP. You initially, in fact, chose him to contest that election in Varanasi in 2009, and then at the last moment, you dropped him in favor of Murli Manohar Joshi. That deeply upset him. He changed parties. And in 2012, in the assembly elections, he routed the BJP candidate in Pindra, who was left with just 3,000 votes. Now, you know, revenge is an enormous motivation. And if revenge is still driving Ajay Rai, as many believe it is, and given that he has certain influence in the community, if I can put it like that, you may find that you've come up against an enormous obstacle that you hadn't quite catered for.
How Congress has selected Mr. Ajay Rai is the internal matter of Congress party. And what is there in the mind of Mr. Ajay Rai, whether it is a revenge or not, I am not privy to any such information. But there are two inferences. One, Congress is unable to find any candidate from its original cadre. They are trying to hire a candidate from outside. Like in Gujarat at one point of time.
You're sidestepping the issue I raised, aren't you?
Second thing. Yes, of course, they should try to have a formidable candidate and somebody should play a role of a mediator. I think it can be a Shahi Imam.
Forgive me, you've done a fair share of taking other people's, other parties' people and giving them seats. Have you forgotten Jagdambika Pal? You've done that yourself. So, you know, this is the case of the pot calling the petrol black.
Of all people.
Let's just stick to the question I asked. Is there a real danger that the revenge factor may drive Mr. Rai to success?
And after a few days, he was giving support on the insistence of Sonia Gandhi. So I think they should try to facilitate the mediation and put up a formidable candidate.
I'm going to go to Mr. Yagnik, who as an academic, at least I hope will answer my question directly, unlike both Mr. Sos and Mr. Trivedi. Very quickly, do you think it's just journalistic discussion that's hyping up Ajay Rai's chances? Or do you genuinely feel that if the communities come together, he could defeat Narendra Modi? Give me a short, sharp answer.
No, he is a weak candidate, there is no doubt about that. But I would also like to ask that why we are not asking BJP that they are not putting up a formidable candidate against Sonia Gandhi.
Well, no, that's a different issue.
We are not asking that question.
No, but definitely not, because it's a different issue. That's not just a different issue, Mr. Yagnik, it's a different question, and I applaud you for having found an extremely deliciously academic way of doing exactly what the others were doing, deflecting the question and not answering it. I'm afraid I've got three guests today, unlike Naveen Singh, who do not want to answer the question I'm asking. I have
already told you. I have already told you that he is a weak candidate, no doubt about that.
All right, we leave it there. He's a weak candidate, no doubt about it. Mr. Sos is strongly disagreeing in 10 seconds.
One thing, you know, characterizing someone as a gangster, I think that is wrong. The
he
point
has
is,
a criminal record.
No. So many people have a criminal record. Is he convicted?
Well, what do you call a
Mr. Modi has convicted ministers in his government.
I'm going to stop you in your
Was he called a gangster?
Because you're about to embarrass yourself. Rahul Gandhi would be the first to say that we are a clean party and we do not take people with criminal records.
The point
conviction or not, Caesar's wife principle applies to Congress. Stop
the maximum number of MPs in Parliament are Shiv Sena people with criminal records, right?
For yourself.
Shiv Sena and BJP have the highest number of MPs with criminal records. Is that correct or not?
Is that resist the temptation to embarrass Rahul Gandhi by continuing with this argument. In the interest of your own spokesmanship, I'll stop you.
I'm fine with this.
My thanks to both of you for joining me. My thanks also to Mr. Yagnik as well as Mr. Trivedi. We've run right out of time. See you tomorrow. And if you have, then thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night.